Hello, enchanting art students. It is everyone's art teacher, Miss Freels, with another fun art lesson. The last couple of weeks, we have had so much fun learning about fairy tales and about fairy tale settings and fairy tale characters. And because of popular demand, we will have one more week when we will be thinking about mythical characters and exciting and mysterious settings for some potential fairy tales. So I'm going to get right to it. Welcome to week 29, Fairy Houses and Gnome Homes. Week 29 is all about fairy houses and gnome homes. But do you even know what a fairy is? How about a gnome? What kind of fairy tale world could we create with fairies and gnomes? Look at this beautiful illustration and notice what you see. What is happening here? What kind of characters do you see? These illustrations include imaginary creatures called fairies and gnomes. In many tales, gnomes are small people who live underground to guard the treasures of the earth. Fairies are imagined to be small winged people with magical powers. Sometimes fairies are drawn with butterfly or insect wings. In some stories, fairies ride on the backs of other animals. Gnomes are often drawn as small people with pointy hats. In some tales, gnomes are helpful, and in other ones, they are mischief makers. Many illustrators of fairy tales show fairies living in gardens. Mushrooms might serve as tables. A branch or piece of fruit might serve as a place to sit. This illustrator has created a mushroom house for one group of gnomes and a hollow tree home for another. Today, you will be drawing a gnome or fairy house that you invent yourself. The house might be in a tree or garden, or it could be in some place completely different. You will also draw the gnomes or fairies out, doing whatever it is you imagine gnomes and fairies do. You might include their pets or friends in the picture. You might show the gnomes and fairies working or playing. What are some things you see them doing in this drawing? What details will you add? This student drew a squirrel and a stump, a well, a musical fairy, a flying fairy, a gnome in a house, a gnome hiding behind a tree, a hornet's nest, a spider web, a dragonfly, and a basket of apples. That's a lot of details. This student artist drew many details. What are some things happening in this drawing? This student artist decided to illustrate both the inside and the outside of the home. We can see rooms for napping, cooking, relaxing, and music making. This student artist drew both the inside and the outside of the home as well. We see baby fairies in the house, pet dogs and frogs outside, a garden gnome, and lots of magical fairies flying around. Today, I'm going to help you learn how to draw a gnome, and I'm going to help you learn how to draw a fairy. I am going to be using my whiteboard to practice some ideas, and then I have my paper ready to draw those ideas on my paper when I'm ready and to add more details and color. And thank you so much to Janet Johnson on Teachers Pay Teachers for inspiring this lesson and supplying me with all her great material. Let's get started. All right, I'm going to start with a simple fairy, and then I'm going to draw a simple gnome, and then I'm going to draw a mushroom that you could turn into a house or a motel or whatever you want to turn it into. And yeah, then I'm going to release it to you to use your imagination. Take those ideas and create a fairy house or gnome home, or some kind of fairy or gnome community. All right, let's just start with a simple fairy. Let's just start with some simple shapes, shall we? You can make it as complicated as you want. I'm going to start with her little face. She's just going to kind of fit in this kind of general area of my whiteboard, right in the middle. So when I make her face, I'm just going to make sort of like a small oval shape like this. And for the purposes of me just using my whiteboard marker, it's difficult, right, sometimes to draw a lot of details with my whiteboard marker, especially when I'm drawing small. So I'm just going to give her some eyes and a cute little smile, maybe a little nose. When I draw this on my paper later, yeah, you get the idea. I can add a lot more details. I am going to give her some hair. Now, there's lots of different kinds of hair, so we'll give you some ideas here. She could have some like beautiful curly hair, easy to show with just some simple lines like that. She could have some hair that comes down like this, maybe curls up at the ends like this. Okay, easy peasy, right? She could have long sort of hair waving in the wind. I better get out my whiteboard marker because I'm making kind of a mess now. Let me just recreate that face shape there. There we go. Like we could have it kind of like blowing in the wind, like this. Whatever kind of hair you are inspired. The dress, I'm going to keep it just simple for now. It's just going to be basically like the shape of a kind of like a curvy triangle. And we can add details later, right? We can add details later. I'm going to do one hand up holding a wand and one hand kind of off to the side. So I'm just going to start with 2 curvy lines for her arm. A little thumb curve up. And a little oval here for her wand. This one is going to be on the other side, thumb up, and maybe you want to make fingers, however you want to make your arms. Now, right here is I kind of created a space for a possible wand. Your wand could be like the shape of a star, or the shape of a heart, or the shape of a lightning bolt, whatever you think. Let's give her some legs, same as the arms, starting with 2 long lines together, and whatever kind of feet. I'm just going to keep them simple for today. We can add more details later. And then let's go ahead and not forget the wings, of course. Wings you can do a number of ways, but today I'm just going to make a loopy line this way and then another one down this way and kind of do it on the same side. So I'm going to start kind of from the top of her head and do a curvy line till right about her neck, and then do a smaller curvy line till for like her back, like that. I'm going to repeat the same step over here. It's going to kind of go to her neck, and then the bottom part is going to be kind of like right here. Okay, there are other ways of, obviously, you can create a fairy. You can also do Google search how to draw a fairy, and you'll see hundreds of different ways to make a fairy. And when I draw this fairy on paper later, I'm going to add a lot more detail. Okay, so that is a basic fairy. Let's get on with our gnome. Okay, same thing. I'm going to draw my gnome right here about in the middle of my whiteboard. I'm not going to draw a whole lot of details. Whiteboard markers do not allow for a whole lot of details, but I will when I make my gnome on paper. Now, a gnome can be a man or a woman or whatever, right? It's just kind of a magical, mythical creature. But the gnome I'm going to do today is going to be sort of like your typical gnome with the pointy hat and the big beard, okay? Since we did our fairy as a girl, boys can also be fairies, by the way. Animals can also be fairies also. Okay, so for the gnome, I'm actually going to start with the hat. And the hat is nothing but a triangle. You can put a little ball at the top or a little star at the top, whatever you want. It's totally up to you. And now I'm going to make the shape of the face with the beard. So just watch me first. I'm going to make some wavy lines down. They're going to kind of curve around and come back up on the other side like that. We're not done, don't worry. It looks kind of weird, right? Watch this. I'm going to make a curved line down. Actually, before I even do that, I'm going to draw the nose, just like the letter U. And from the side of the nose to up on the cheek, I'm going to draw a curved line. The same on the other side like this. And I'm going to add some eyes. Oh, now you see what's happening, right? And my little gnome is happy today. So it's got a little smile. Oh, that's cute, right? We can give our gnome ears if we want, simply by adding some little loopy lines on the side of the face. So cute. Now, my gnome is a little bit round. He's a little bit chubby. So I'm going to make a curvy line like this. It's going to be his shoulders and his tummy going down and back up on the other side. Watch me first. A curvy line down and back up to the other side. Voila. I'm going to, right in the middle, I'm going to make a belt using two curvy horizontal lines, and right in the middle, get two vertical lines for like a little belt buckle. Maybe a little button or two that you can fit there on the shirt. The legs, I'm just going to make almost like a rectangle shape. A little bit curvy on the sides like this, with a little line in the middle. And simple feet, simple loopy feet for now. Later, when I draw this on my paper, I can feel free to add as many details as I want. Now the arms are just down by the side, so watch how I do that. Just drag one line down till about the belt line, and then cut back in. Do the same on the other side. And let's just give our gnome some simple hands for today. Okay, imagine the possibilities when you add more details. What kind of colors, what kind of patterns, littler gnomes, bigger gnomes, gnome babies, gnome women, gnome animals, gnome grandmas. Awesome. Let's draw a mushroom, shall we? Okay, let's draw two mushrooms. One a little bit more complicated than the other, but still, let's keep them kind of simple for now, especially since we're just practicing, or at least I'm just practicing. Now, let's start with a half circle, just like the body of our dragon last week. I'm going to do two different mushrooms, so I'm going to do one over here and one over here. Okay? Remember a half circle? Rainbow shape on top, stretched out U, whatever you want to think of it, and kind of make a line. It can be even a little bit curvy back to where you started. This is my simple mushroom, and you, of course, you can add, right, as many details as you want. A mushroom also has a stem. The stem just goes down like this, and let's just go ahead and cap the bottom off, just like that. Mushrooms come in all shapes and colors, if you know anything about mushrooms, but usually the sort of fairy tale gnome kind of mushroom is the red one, like in Super Mario Brothers, right? That has white spots on it. That was easy, right? Think about all the things you could do with this. You could just use them as decorations in your illustrations. You could add a little doorway, a rectangle door, or a nice rounded door. You could squeeze some windows in. You could add a bunch of mushrooms and make a whole neighborhood. You could also add a mushroom of a different shape. So this one is also sort of like a half circle. You'll see what I mean. This one's going to be a little bit bigger. So it's going to start off like a half circle just on the top. But then what I'm going to do, watch me, I'm going to kind of bring the lines out and do like a wavy line back and in. So watch, I'm going to bring the lines out like this. And then I'm going to connect them with sort of like a wavy line back in like that. And then the bottom of this mushroom is going to be a little bit different shape, just to give you some options, okay? Instead of being straight, a straight stem, it's going to be curved out like this on both sides. And then I can also do a line, but right now I think I'm just going to, I'm going to add my little doorway. So let me do that really quick. This door is going to have a window in it. And then instead of drawing that line, I might add some like grass or something like this, instead of just making that straight line on the bottom of the mushroom, right? You might even have like a little path leading to your door like we did with our castles, right? You might even have a little path. We might put some bushes behind it like that. And once again, let's add those sort of cliche mushroom that we see in the cartoons or in fairy tales. We can color that red with white spots. And if you need any more inspiration, feel free to watch this video again. Go back to the student examples and press pause at any time to get some more inspiration. Flowers, trees, animals. All right, I'm going to create my drawing on paper. Okay, I'm going to be using a little bit of crayon today and a little bit of markers today. You can use whatever kind of coloring materials you have at home or whatever kind of coloring materials you want to. I sure hope you had fun using your imagination today in creating fairy houses or gnome homes. Make sure you take your time, add lots of details and color, and I will see you all next week for another enchanting lesson. Bye.